The champagne was Dom Perignon, 2008, $1,200 a bottle. The resort? The Grandview Paradise, $8,000 per night. The bride? 26-year-old Sarah Mitchell, 6 months pregnant, wearing a Vera Wang gown that cost more than most people's cars. The groom? Gone. But here's what the headlines didn't tell you. What happened at the Grandview Paradise Resort on June 14, 2019, wasn't just an abandoned bride story. It was the beginning of an investigation that would expose a criminal network stretching across 7 states, involve 12 federal agencies, and reveal that Sarah Mitchell wasn't the first victim. She was the 7th. This is the complete story. 5 hours. Everything the authorities finally released. And I'm warning you right now, nothing about this case is what it seems. By the end of this investigation, you'll question everything you think you know about love, trust, and survival. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will make you look at every relationship differently. Before we dive into Sarah's story, I need to tell you why this case matters to me personally. Why I've spent 6 months investigating every detail. Why I'm bringing this to you today. My name is on this channel, but what you might not know is that 3 years ago, I was almost a victim of something similar. Not a wedding scam, but a romance scheme that nearly destroyed my life. I met someone online. Charming. Successful. Everything seemed perfect. We talked for months. They knew exactly what to say, exactly when to say it. They made me feel seen, understood, loved. Then one day, they asked me for help. A small favor. Access to my company's client database. They said they were doing research for a business proposal. I trusted them. I loved them. I almost did it. But something stopped me. A feeling. A small voice that said, wait. Verify. Check. I did. And everything fell apart. The person I'd been talking to didn't exist. The photos were stolen. The stories were fabricated. I'd been groomed for corporate espionage, and I didn't even know it. That experience changed me. It made me understand how easy it is to manipulate someone when you understand human psychology, when you know which emotional buttons to press. So when I read about Sarah Mitchell, about this bride abandoned at a luxury resort, something in my gut told me there was more to this story. Much more. And I was right. What I'm about to share with you is the result of months of research, interviews with investigators, documents obtained through Freedom of Information requests, conversations with people connected to this case who've never spoken publicly before. This isn't just a true crime story. This is a warning. Because the tactics used against Sarah, they're being used right now, against people just like you, people watching this video. And here's what I need from you. As we go through this 5-hour investigation, I'm going to leave pieces of the puzzle throughout. Details that seem small but matter enormously. Pay attention, because in the next video in this series, I'm going to reveal something about my own story that connects directly to what happened to Sarah Mitchell. Something I've never told anyone. But I can only do that if you're here with me. So right now, before we go any further, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Just your city or country. I want to see how far this story reaches. Because what happened to Sarah Mitchell started in California, but the network behind it, it's global. Drop that comment now. City or country. Let me see you. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. This is part 1 of a series. Sarah's story has layers we're going to peel back over multiple videos. You don't want to miss what comes next. All right, let's get into it. Let me take you back to June 13th, 2019, 24 hours before Sarah Mitchell's world collapsed. The Grandview Paradise Resort sits on 12 acres of private coastline in Malibu, California. This isn't a place you stumble into. This is where celebrities hide from paparazzi, where tech billionaires propose to supermodels, where privacy is the most valuable amenity they offer. Getting a reservation requires either extraordinary wealth or extraordinary connections. Derek Chin had both. 34 years old, MIT graduate, founder and CEO of Quantum Solutions, a cybersecurity firm valued at $240 million. He'd been featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. He ran marathons. He donated to children's hospitals. He was, by every public measure, the perfect man. Sarah Mitchell met him 18 months earlier at a charity gala in San Francisco. She was an architect at one of the Bay Area's most prestigious firms. She'd actually designed the building where their eyes first met across a crowded room. Sounds like a movie, right? Their courtship was a fairy tale. 4 months of dating. Then he proposed with a 4-carat diamond at the top of the Golden Gate Bridge at sunrise. She said yes before he finished asking the question. The wedding was planned for the Grandview Paradise Resort. Intimate ceremony. Just 12 guests. Sarah wanted it small. Derek insisted on perfection. He booked the entire resort for 3 days. The cost? $270,000. Nothing but the best for his bride. But on June 13th, at 3:47 p.m., as Sarah and her mother checked into room 312, Derek checked into room 417. Separately, the resort staff thought nothing of it. Wealthy couples often kept separate rooms the night before the wedding. Tradition, superstition, romance. Nobody questioned it. Nobody suspected. Nobody knew that in less than 20 hours, room 417 would become ground zero for a federal investigation that would eventually involve the FBI, Secret Service, Treasury Department, and Homeland Security. Here's a question for you, and I want you to comment your answer. Have you ever had a moment where something felt slightly off, but you ignored it because everything else seemed perfect? Drop your answer below, because that instinct, that small voice that says something's wrong, might be the thing that saves your life. June 14th, 2019. Wedding day. Sarah woke up at 6:30 a.m. in room 312. Her mother, Patricia, was already awake, steaming the Vera Wang gown, arranging flowers, making sure every detail was flawless. What you need to understand is that Sarah Mitchell wasn't some naive victim. She was 36 years old, successful, intelligent. She'd been in relationships before. She knew how to protect herself. Or so she thought. At 6:47 a.m., Sarah recorded a voice memo on her phone. She did this sometimes, capturing moments she wanted to remember. The recording still exists. It's part of the case file. And with permission from Sarah, I'm going to share part of it with you now. Listen to her voice. Really listen. It's 6:47 a.m., and I'm about to marry the love of my life. I'm terrified I'm going to cry off all my makeup. Derek, if you're somehow listening to this later, I can't wait to be your wife. I can't wait to meet our daughter. I can't wait for forever. Forever lasted 4 hours and 32 minutes. Let me walk you through the timeline. Every single detail matters here. I mean it. Things I'm telling you right now will become critical later. 7:15 a.m. Sarah has breakfast with her mother and bridesmaids. Fruit, yogurt, mimosas. She barely eats. Nerves. 8:30 a.m. Hair and makeup begins. A professional team from Los Angeles. 3 hours blocked out for perfection. 9:20 a.m. Sarah texts Derek. Morning, husband-to-be. Can't wait to see you at the altar. Derek replies in 30 seconds. Counting down the minutes. You're going to be the most beautiful bride in history. Everything seemed perfect. 10:15 a.m. Derek is seen by resort staff having coffee on the terrace. Alone, reading something on his phone. A waiter who served him later told investigators that Derek seemed focused but calm. Not nervous at all. The waiter said, and this is a direct quote, "Most grooms are anxious wrecks. Pacing, sweating. This guy was cool as ice. Like he was preparing for a business meeting, not a wedding." Was that confidence? Or was it something else? 11:30 a.m. Sarah's last text to Derek. 2 hours. I can't believe this is happening. No response. She didn't think anything of it. He was probably getting ready. Maybe he was nervous after all. It was fine. Everything was fine. 12:45 p.m. Wedding guests begin arriving. The ceremony site is an ocean view terrace overlooking the Pacific. White roses everywhere. A string quartet playing Pachelbel's canon. The photographer estimated later that the floral arrangements alone cost $40,000. $40,000. On flowers. 1 p.m. Sarah is in her dress. Her mother is crying happy tears. The photographer is taking pre-ceremony portraits. Sarah looks radiant, glowing, completely unaware that her life is about to shatter. 1:15 p.m. The ceremony is scheduled to begin. Guests are seated. The officiant is in position. The quartet shifts to the processional music. Sarah's father offers his arm. She takes it. They begin walking toward the ceremony site. And that's when the wedding coordinator, a woman named Jessica Ramos, intercepts them. Her face is white. Her hands are shaking. "Ms. Mitchell," she says, "I need you to wait just one moment." The groom, there's a small delay. Sarah laughs. Nervous energy. "Is he okay?" "I'm sure he's fine," Jessica says. But her voice cracks when she says it. Because Jessica Ramos has just come from room 417. And room 417 is empty. Not just empty like someone stepped out for a moment. Empty like it was staged. Like it had been carefully prepared for this exact moment. Before we continue, I need you to do something. Pause this video right now and look at the like button. If you're feeling any emotion at all right now, if this story is hitting you in any way, click that like. It tells YouTube to show this to more people. And trust me, this is a story that needs to be heard. Do it now. I'll wait. Okay, let's continue. What do you do when your groom doesn't show up? If you're Sarah Mitchell, you wait. Because there has to be an explanation. There has to be a reason. People don't just vanish. 1:20 p.m. 5 minutes late. He's probably running behind, Sarah tells herself. She's still smiling. 1:30 p.m. 10 minutes. The guests are getting restless, whispering, checking their phones. The officiant is looking at his watch. 1:45 p.m. 15 minutes. Sarah's mother goes to find the wedding coordinator. Where is he? What's happening? 2 p.m. 30 minutes late. Sarah is no longer smiling. She's sitting in the bridal suite, phone in hand, calling Derek. It rings and rings and goes to voicemail. She calls again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. 14 times in 20 minutes. 14 calls. 0 answers. Now let me ask you something. Comment your answer. What would you do in this situation? Would you keep calling? Would you start assuming the worst? Would you get angry? Tell me in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious how different people would handle this moment. 2:15 p.m. The wedding coordinator and resort manager go to room 417 with a master key. Jessica Ramos was interviewed 3 years later. She agreed to speak with me for this investigation. And here's what she told me. We knocked. No answer. We knocked again, announced ourselves. Nothing. The manager used his key. The door opened, and it was like walking into a crime scene. Not because anything violent had happened, but because of how deliberate everything was. The bed was made. Military corners. Perfect. No luggage. No clothes. No toiletries. No wedding tuxedo. Nothing personal at all. It was like the room had been erased. What was there? I asked her. A briefcase. Black leather. Expensive. Combination lock. And a note on the desk. The note was handwritten on resort stationery. It said, "For Sarah. Open only in the presence of authorities." I'm sorry. 13 words. That's it. No explanation. No goodbye. No I love you. Just I'm sorry. Think about that for a second. You're about to marry someone. You've spent 18 months building a life together. There's a baby on the way. And you reduce your goodbye to 13 words. What kind of person does that? 2:30 p.m. The resort manager calls the police. This is now beyond a domestic situation. This is a missing person. A potential crime scene. 2:45 p.m. 2 officers from the Malibu Sheriff's Department arrive. 3 p.m. Sarah Mitchell, 6 months pregnant, still in her wedding dress, is escorted to room 417. Detective Maria Gonzalez was the lead investigator. She's been a detective for 19 years. She's seen every kind of crime you can imagine. And she told me this. I've seen a lot in my career. But watching a pregnant bride in a $10,000 dress walk into an empty hotel room to face whatever her vanished groom left behind, that image is burned into my memory forever. The look on her face when she saw that briefcase. I'll never forget it. The briefcase sat on the desk. Black leather. Combination lock. Pristine. Sarah stared at it for a full minute without saying anything. Just staring. Then she asked, "Should I open it?" Detective Gonzalez would later tell me she almost said no. Something about that briefcase felt wrong. Like opening it would trigger something irreversible. But Sarah reached for it anyway. The combination? She knew it instantly. Their baby's due date. September 3rd, 2019. 0-9-0-3. The lock clicked open. And everything changed. Before I tell you what was inside that briefcase, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now. Because what I'm about to reveal is just the beginning. This case has layers that will take us through multiple videos to fully unpack. And in the next episode, I'm going to tell you about the connection between Sarah's case and what almost happened to me. The connection that made me realize this isn't just one man's crime. It's a pattern. Subscribe now. Click that button, because you're going to want to see where this goes. Okay, the briefcase. Inside the briefcase, Sarah Mitchell found 4 things. Item 1. A USB drive. Black. Unmarked. No label. Nothing. Item 2. A handwritten letter. For pages. Derek's handwriting. Sarah recognized it immediately. Item 3. A stack of documents. Legal papers. Printed emails. Financial records. All neatly organized. Item 4. 7 photographs. And this is where it gets disturbing. 7 photographs of 7 different women, all in wedding dresses, all looking at the camera with the same expression Sarah had worn just hours earlier. Pure joy, absolute happiness. Detective Gonzalez took the photographs from Sarah's trembling hands and laid them out on the desk. 7 brides, different women, different dresses, different locations, some beach weddings, some garden ceremonies, some luxury venues, but they were connected by something. Each photograph had a date written on the back in the same handwriting. June 14th, 2016. June 14th, 2017. June 14th, 2018. The pattern was obvious. Every year. Same date. June 14th. For 7 consecutive years. Sarah Mitchell was number 8. Let that sink in for a moment. This wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a man who got cold feet. This was systematic. Planned. Repeated. 7 women over 7 years. Same date. Same method. Now I want you to comment below. Do you think these women knew about each other? Do you think Derek, or whoever he really was, kept in contact with any of them? Give me your theory. I'm reading every single comment. Sarah picked up the letter. Her hands were shaking so badly that Detective Gonzalez had to help steady her. Do you want me to read it first? Gonzalez asked. Sarah shook her head. No, I need to see what he has to say. The letter began like this. Dear Sarah, by the time you read this, you'll hate me. You should. I hate myself. But before you call me a monster, you need to understand something. I never lied about loving you. That was real. Everything else. Let me start from the beginning. And then Derek Chun confessed everything. His real name wasn't Derek Chun. It was Daniel Morse. He wasn't 34 years old. He was 41. He wasn't a tech CEO. He'd never founded Quantum Solutions. In fact, Quantum Solutions existed, but Daniel didn't create it. He'd stolen the identity of the actual founder, the real Derek Chun, who had died in a car accident in Taiwan 3 years earlier. No family. No public photos. Minimal digital footprint. Easy to assume someone's identity when there's nobody left to contradict you. The resemblance was superficial at best, but with the right documents, the right story, the right confidence, identity theft is easier than most people realize. But here's where the letter got truly disturbing. I've been running for 11 years, Daniel wrote. From people who will never stop looking. People who will eliminate anyone connected to me. I thought I could outrun them. I thought I could build a normal life. I thought I could have you, have our daughter, have everything I'd given up. But 2 weeks ago, they found me. I have a choice. Run, or watch everyone I love disappear. So I'm running. Then came the part that made Sarah's blood run cold. And Sarah, you need to know, they're not just after me. They're after what I took. And they think you have it. Sarah looked up from the letter. Her voice was barely a whisper. I don't understand. What did he take? I don't have anything. Detective Gonzalez picked up the USB drive. Maybe this will explain. They brought in a laptop, plugged in the drive, and what they found escalated this case from a local police matter to a federal investigation in less than 6 hours. Because that USB drive contained something that 12 different government agencies had been searching for 3 years. Before I tell you what was on that drive, let me ask you this. Have you ever trusted someone completely, only to find out they were using you? Not in a romantic way necessarily, but in any context. A friend, a colleague, family member, someone who made you feel safe while they were taking advantage. If that's happened to you, drop a comment. Just say yes, or tell your story if you're comfortable. Because understanding how manipulation works is the first step in protecting yourself. Okay, the USB drive. The drive contained banking records from 17 offshore accounts, encrypted communication logs, video files, audio recordings, and a detailed confession that explained everything. Daniel Morse hadn't just stolen an identity. He'd stolen $300 million. And that's where we need to go back, way back, to understand how all of this started. 2008, Daniel Morse is 29 years old. He's working for a private military contractor called Sentinel Global Solutions. Now, on paper, Sentinel provided security consulting for corporations operating in high-risk areas, protecting executives, securing facilities, risk assessment. Off paper, Sentinel was laundering money for international criminal organizations, cartels, arms dealers, groups I can't even name in this video without risking demonetization. $300 million moving through ghost accounts every single quarter. And Daniel Morse was one of 12 people who knew the entire operation. His job? Cybersecurity. Keep the money invisible. Keep the network encrypted. Keep everyone protected. He was good at it. Brilliant, actually. But in 2011, Daniel started asking questions. There's a recorded phone call. It was on the USB drive. And with authorization from federal investigators, I'm going to play you a portion of it. Listen carefully. I need to know where this money is really going. I'm not coding transactions for earthquake relief in Haiti. Tell me the truth. The response came from an unknown voice. You want the truth? The truth will get you disappeared. Do your job. Cash your checks. Stop asking. Daniel didn't stop. Over the next 6 months, he copied everything. Every transaction, every account number, every name, every communication. Evidence of money laundering across 40 countries. Enough documentation to put 200 people in federal prison for the rest of their lives. And on March 3, 2012, Daniel Morse walked into the FBI field office in Chicago with a hard drive containing everything. He became a protected witness. The FBI promised him safety, a new identity, a new life. They promised him justice. But someone inside the FBI was on Sentinel's payroll. 3 days before the grand jury was scheduled to convene, Daniel Morse's protective detail was ambushed. 2 federal agents died in that attack. Daniel escaped. Barely. The leak came from inside. The FBI still doesn't know who it was. Every agent involved in the case was investigated, polygraphed, scrutinized. Nothing. Daniel Morse went underground. And for 11 years, he was a ghost. Except he wasn't just hiding. He was living, building identities, creating lives. And every year, on June 14th, the anniversary of the day he first went into hiding, he would propose to someone. Why? Here's where it gets psychologically complex. I spoke with Dr. Patricia Nolan. She's a psychologist specializing in criminal behavior and manipulation. And she explained it like this. For someone living under a false identity, the greatest threat isn't external detection. It's internal dissolution. You start to forget who you really are. The lie becomes more real than the truth. Proposing to someone, planning a wedding, creating the illusion of a future, it grounds you in reality. It makes the fake identity feel real, even if only for a few months. But why abandon them? Why not just go through with it? Because marriage creates legal ties, Dr. Nolan explained. Public records, shared finances, emergency contacts. For someone trying to stay hidden, marriage is a trap. So he gets close enough to feel human, then disappears before the trap closes. 7 women over 7 years. Each one thought she was marrying Derek Chun, or whatever name he was using at the time. Each one was abandoned on her wedding day. Each one received a briefcase with a note. But here's what Sarah didn't know yet. Here's what the FBI discovered when they tracked down the other 7 women. None of them were random. Every single one had been carefully selected. Woman 1, Jessica Lynn, Seattle, cybersecurity analyst for a defense contractor. Woman 2, Amanda Cortez, Austin, federal prosecutor specializing in financial crimes. Woman 3, Nicole Grant, Denver, investigative journalist with sources in law enforcement. Woman 4, Rachel Kim, Boston, financial auditor with access to international banking systems. Woman 5, Olivia Santos, Miami, FBI field agent working organized crime. Woman 6, Emma Zhang, Portland, corporate lawyer specializing in mergers and acquisitions. Woman 7, Sophia Patel, Chicago, intelligence contractor with top secret clearance. Every single woman had skills Daniel Morse needed, access he required, information he could use to stay hidden and stay ahead of the people hunting him. He wasn't falling in love. He was recruiting assets, and they didn't even know it. Here's a question I want you to comment on. If you found out someone you loved had been using you for information, but they genuinely did develop feelings for you, does that change anything? Can love and manipulation coexist? Tell me what you think. Now, Sarah Mitchell, the architect. What did Daniel need from her? She'd recently completed a project, a secure data facility in Nevada, for a company called Sentinel Global Solutions, the same company Daniel Morse had been running from for 11 years. Sarah had designed their security system. She knew the layouts, the protocols, the vulnerabilities, and Daniel had spent 18 months extracting that information from her. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. 3 days after the abandoned wedding, Sarah Mitchell sat in a federal interrogation room facing FBI Special Agent Marcus Webb. She hadn't slept in 72 hours. Her eyes were hollow. Her wedding dress was in an evidence bag somewhere. She was no longer a bride. She was a suspect. Ms. Mitchell, I need you to tell me about the Sentinel project. Sarah looked confused. What does that have to do with Derek? Just answer the question, please. It was a commercial project. A data facility in Nevada. High-security server farm. I designed the physical security architecture. That's my job. Did Derek ever ask you about that project? Sarah went very still. You could see the realization spreading across her face. He asked about my work. We were engaged. Couples talk about work. Did he ask specific questions about Sentinel's security systems? Long pause. Yes. And that's the moment Sarah Mitchell understood the truth. She'd been used. Every romantic dinner where Derek asked about her projects. Every weekend getaway where he casually inquired about security protocols. Every late-night conversation where she vented about difficult clients, including Sentinel. He was mining her for information. I want to show you something. These are text messages between Sarah and Derek from March 2019, 3 months before the wedding. Sarah wrote, Sentinel is being so paranoid about their server room access. Triple authentication, biometric locks, the works. Derek responded, they must have valuable data. What kind of company are they again? Sarah, military contracting, I think. Security stuff. Very secretive. She gave him everything he needed. Building layouts. Security specifications. Access protocols. Guard shift schedules. Not because she was complicit, because she was in love. The FBI questioned her for 6 hours. Every detail of her relationship. Every conversation about work. Every file she might have shared. Did you ever give Derek access to your work computer? No. Never. I mean, wait. Sarah stopped. He fixed my laptop once. I was working from home. My computer crashed. He said he knew someone in IT support. Took it for 2 days to get it repaired. When was this? April. Early April. Agent Webb looked at another investigator. The Sentinel blueprints were accessed April 8th through 11th. Check her system logs. They found it. While Sarah's laptop was supposedly being repaired, someone had remotely accessed her firm's server and downloaded every file related to the Sentinel project. And 3 weeks later, on May 2nd, 2019, Sentinel Global Solutions reported a massive data breach. $87 million in cryptocurrency stolen from their secure servers. Daniel Morse had struck again, using information Sarah had unknowingly provided. Sarah was crying. I helped him. I didn't know, but I helped him steal. I'm 6 months pregnant with his child, and I helped him commit a crime. What do I do? Agent Webb pushed a box of tissues toward her. You help us find him. But finding Daniel Morse would prove nearly impossible. Because while Sarah was being interrogated, while the FBI was analyzing the USB drive, while the media was turning this into the biggest story of the year, Daniel Morse was already 3,000 miles away. And he'd sent a message. Not to Sarah, not to the FBI, to the people hunting him. The message was simple. I have all of it. Every name, every account, every transaction. Come for me, and it all goes public. Leave me alone, and your secrets stay buried. You have 72 hours to decide. It was signed, the Ghost of Sentinel. Daniel Morse wasn't running anymore. He was negotiating, and he was using Sarah Mitchell's life as leverage. Now, before we go further, I need to tell you something. This story connects to something that happened to me, something I mentioned at the beginning. And in the next video, I'm going to reveal what that connection is. But I can only make that video if enough people are watching this series. So right now, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Because what I'm about to share in the next episode will change how you see this entire case. Do it now. I'll wait. Okay, let's continue. June 18th, 2019. For days after the abandoned wedding, Agent Marcus Webb hadn't slept in 72 hours. Across his desk were 7 case files. 7 abandoned brides. 7 women who'd fallen in love with a man who didn't exist. One question kept him awake. Why did Daniel Morse leave the briefcase? People like Morse don't make mistakes. Everything is calculated, deliberate, intentional. He didn't accidentally leave that USB drive. He wanted the FBI to find it. But why? The answer came from woman number 3, Nicole Grant, the investigative journalist from Denver who'd been abandoned in 2017. Unlike the others, Nicole had spent 2 years investigating Derek Chun on her own. And what she found was terrifying. When Derek left me at that altar, I didn't just cry and move on. I'm a journalist. I investigate. So I started digging. Nicole discovered a pattern. Every woman Daniel targeted had access to something valuable. Jessica Lynn in Seattle worked in cybersecurity for a defense contractor. Amanda Cortez was prosecuting financial crimes. Rachel Kim had access to international banking systems. He wasn't dating us, Nicole explained. He was positioning assets. Nicole went to the police with her findings. They dismissed her as a scorned ex-girlfriend making up conspiracy theories. But then she found something else. Something that changed everything. Every woman Daniel Morse had abandoned was approached afterward. By the same person. A man in his 50s. Gray hair. Expensive suit. No name. He would appear weeks after the failed wedding. Always in public places. Coffee shops. Parks. Office lobbies. Always with the same message. Derek Chin spoke very highly of you. We'd like to offer you a consulting opportunity. 3 of the 7 women were approached. 3 declined. 2 accepted. And those 2 women? They vanished. Not dramatically. No missing persons reports. No police investigations. They simply stopped existing. Social media went dark. Apartments abandoned. Jobs quit via email with 2 weeks' notice. Nicole tracked down one of their families. The woman's mother hadn't heard from her daughter in 8 months. No calls. No texts. Nothing. When I asked if anyone had contacted her, Nicole said, "She told me yes. A man from the government came by, said her daughter was working on a classified project and wouldn't be able to communicate for a while." Nicole didn't believe it. She spent 6 months tracking the man who'd approached them. And she found him. His name is Richard Kessler. Former CIA, former Sentinel Global Solutions executive. His last known position? Head of Asset Elimination. The women who said no were alive. The women who said yes. Nicole didn't think they were. When the FBI verified Nicole's findings, everything changed. This wasn't just about stolen money. This was about a shadow organization hunting a whistleblower and eliminating anyone who got too close. Agent Webb realized something crucial. Daniel Morse had been playing a game for 11 years. Every relationship was a test. He'd date these women, extract what he needed, then disappear before Sentinel could track him through them. By leaving them at the altar, he was protecting them. If they never married him, they had no legal connection. They weren't wives. They were just ex-girlfriends. Easier to dismiss as bitter if they started asking questions. But Sarah Mitchell was different. Sarah was 6 months pregnant. She wasn't just connected to Daniel Morse. She was carrying his child. And that made her the most valuable asset Sentinel had ever had. Because on June 19, 2019, 5 days after the abandoned wedding, Richard Kessler boarded a flight to Los Angeles. Destination, Malibu. Target, Sarah Mitchell. The hunter was closing in. And Sarah had no idea. Let me ask you something. If you were in Sarah's position right now, would you cooperate with people trying to find Daniel? Or would you protect him despite what he did? Comment your answer. Because what Sarah does next will surprise you. But that's where we have to stop for now. Because what happens next, the events of June 20th, the safe house breach, the message Daniel sends, the choice Sarah has to make, that's a story that deserves its own video. And I promise you, the next episode is going to reveal things about this case that will make everything you just heard look simple. Here's what I need you to do right now. 3 things. 1. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. This is a series. You need to see what comes next. 2. Comment below and tell me where you're watching from. I'm trying to see how far this story reaches. 3. Share this video with someone who loves true crime. Someone who needs to understand how manipulation really works. Do those 3 things right now. And remember what I said at the beginning. In the next video, I'm telling you about the connection between Sarah's case and what almost happened to me. The connection that made me realize this isn't just one criminal. It's a system. But I need to know you're here. I need to see those subscriptions, those comments, that engagement. Because the next part of this story is going to be intense, and I need to know you're ready for it. So do it now. Subscribe, comment, share. I'll see you in the next one. And Sarah, if you're watching this, I hope you know that telling your story might save someone else.